WNST. I'm wearing my Dundalk High jacket. It is Dundalk Hall of Fame week. This gives me an opportunity to bring other Baltimore County graduates and residents and grower-uppers. This guy, I didn't know how much Essex he had in his background, but, you know, it's amazing. If Essex and Dundalk can get together, Dennis Kolotzis low these many years ago, and we're not even fighting over the Golden Domes anymore. We're just sharing them, right? There can be world peace here, right? I mean, this week, even the Ravens and Vikings fans can get along, right?
Oh, absolutely. You know, EVT, Eastern Road Tech. Now they call it Eastern Tech these days. Blue ribbon school, but had a phenomenal experience there back in the late 70s, early 80s. Dundalk, Patterson, Chesapeake, Kenwood, all those great schools in Baltimore County.
You know what's really weird is I'm going into the Dundalk High Hall of Fame this week. We're going to be throwing a little party at Acostas on Friday. It's going to be a big night, so anyone that wants to toast my mother and her memory, Dennis has already done that a couple months ago, but this was I was hoping my mom would live long enough to make it for this because she really would have enjoyed this. She didn't, but alas, we will celebrate in her honor with some crabs and some crab cakes and whatnot down at Acostas on Friday night, late night. But, it's the whole thing that I probably was supposed to go to Kenwood. I don't know if you know this or not.
So was I. I was supposed to go there too.
My neighborhood, all the older brothers and sisters in our neighborhood in Colgate went to Kenwood. Sometime right around 79, 80, 81, the zoning changed, the clusters changed. We had always gone to Holabird in our neighborhoods. We always went to a Dundalk-based middle school. And, of course, at that time, North Point Junior was still there where the police center is and the academy on the corner of what is Wise Avenue and Merritt Boulevard. And I was supposed to be fed to Kenwood. I was supposed to be a bluebird. My mom went to Kenwood. My older brother went to Kenwood. Everyone went to Kenwood. But lo and behold, Kelly Green and gold for me. I can't sing the Kenwood alma mater, but I can sing the Dundalk High alma mater.
No, I was supposed to go to Kenwood as well. I visited the school. But Eastern Tech was a blue ribbon school. You had to have a B average to get in. So I knew that none of my friends were getting in there, for sure. So I went there and had an absolute ball. Wonderful school and had many fond memories. In fact, I was the 1981 Athlete of the Year. Played basketball, football, and lacrosse for Eastern Tech, so that was one of my biggest
They played lacrosse at Eastern Tech in 1981.
I did, absolutely did.
I'm from Dundalk, man. There was not one, I'm not kidding you, in my neighborhood, in Colgate, there was not one single person who ever saw a lacrosse stick, a lacrosse ball. There was a kid in Berkshire that had a lacrosse stick, and he would throw the ball up against the wall. And I dated Colleen Evans, and her whole family was lacrosse fans, and they were Dundalk family. But I think they went to Loyola. They were, they were bussed out of the community. They didn't go to Dundalk High or whatever. Other than that, man, lacrosse skipped me. Now, there were some ethnic kids that played soccer. We had some, Italian kids and whatnot, Highlandtown, obviously Petey Caringi. There was Pompey and all of that going on, Curly. There was a big ethnic if you were the son. But I was the son of a Venezuelan. I was a baseball family. My adopted father was a baseball guy. So we were baseball people. I would never have thought to pick up a lacrosse stick in the spring. I didn't even know what it was. I didn't even know the rules.
Nestor, I didn't know what it was either, but my social studies teacher in my sophomore year said, Kolotzis, what are you doing in the spring? I said, I don't know. I might run track. I don't know. He says, you need to play lacrosse for me. I'm like, what are you talking about? Never heard of it. He says, well, you have a C average in my class. You can actually get an A. I said, I'll see you after school. So he showed me the game. I can hit a guy without the ball within 5 yards. I said, you know what, Coach? I'm in. Give me a stick. So they had to buy me a stick, and that's how my career started. I backed into lacrosse.
I should have been born in Minnesota or up with my wife's family in New Hampshire. I would have had ice skates on. I always gravitated to hockey as a kid, as a fan. I always roller skated because it gave me a chance to, find girls at Essex Skateland. Honestly.
Skateland, there you go.
Absolutely.
Couple skate, lights out, backward skate, all that good stuff.
I was going to mention all that, but I had a skating experience in Rosedale at the Skateland there. They had a different synthetic surface there, and it was very discoed up. It was awesome. But yeah, Skateland, Essex, and Dundalk. So I was a really good roller skater, 1 to 10, a 9.5 roller skater. But ice skating was something I didn't know how to do until I was like 14 or 15. I tried. I was never great at ice skating, but I would have been a hockey guy had I been. So, which brings me to Minnesota and me freezing my butt off at the Super Bowl. 15, 18 weeks from now, whenever it is. We're going up there this weekend. Dennis, this is I don't know what to make of this football team. I mean, they might go up there and win. I don't know. I mean, I've seen them do it in Oakland, and this is a backup quarterback kind of sort of in Minnesota. Maybe they can get a pick. Maybe they can jar a ball loose. Maybe Flacco can get the offense moving. I don't know. This is the best defense they're going to face so far this year, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest challenge, Nestor. I think anytime that this version of the Baltimore Ravens offense faces any type of good defensive team, and as you mentioned, this is the best defensive team by far they'll face this season, this team is going to struggle. There's been no indication that they can move the ball against a very good defense, and you know what, they're going to have their hands full. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is. I think the key is, can this offense do enough against the defense of the Vikings? From what we've seen, I don't see it happening. They're just a mess. You got receivers that can't catch. Never mind that Flacco gets beat up, but I went back, took a look at the game. Perryman, the ball dropped, bounced off his hand, and then Chris Moore, the ball bounced off his chest. Now in the stat line, we'll see Joe Flacco with 2 picks, but that's not all on him. When the receivers don't catch the ball, that's a huge problem.
There's a lot of huge problems here, and, for me, Dennis, by the way, Dennis Kalatzis, the SSV on WNST is the way to follow him on Twitter, and, of course, each and every Thursday from 3 until 5, he will drive you home with the SSV on WNST, and, of course, out of Coons Ford, sponsoring our text service, of which I'm hoping for the text service to say Brandon Williams, probable, likely, in, starting, not scratched on Sunday morning. All you got to do is just watch a team try to run the ball, watch what's happening with the push on the pass rush, watch what teams are trying to do in the middle of the field, and you realize why they gave him $12 million a year, and I can't wait to have him back. Yeah, no question about it. He's been a big omission from the run defense. We can certainly see the difference. The Bears ran all over the Ravens. Big key in that defensive line. But again, I got to go back to the offense. They're just a mess, Nestor. They can't pass block the offensive line. They can certainly run block. This team falls behind. I think we can all agree they're going to have a very difficult time coming back against any defense this year, particularly the Minnesota Vikings. Dennis, for me with the kicking game, and I argued this with a couple of people this week. I think I argued it with John Eisenberg as well as Luke Jones, and knowing your intellect for all things football and the second guessing and the tweeting out. 6:36 left to go in the game. It's 4th and 1. They're on the 41-yard line. I said to Luke, and I tweeted, they should kick a 58-yard field goal here because I think I like Tucker's chances of making it, and we're going to have a 1-point game. No, I saw it, and I liked it because, you know what, and I don't like many stuff on Twitter, but I liked it because I thought you were spot on. I was thinking the same exact thing. Well, I just thought they're not going to score a touchdown here, or they're much more likely to kick 2 55-yard field goals than to go to make a 4th and 1 and then continue this drive and get a big play. Kids are dropping the ball. I didn't like much about any of it. And then on the next play, the kid drops the ball, and the ball goes back, and it's an 11-point game. And I'm not second-guessing Harbaugh at all. I'm literally saying this was my level of confidence in the team that I thought they had a better chance of making a 58-yard field goal, kicking off, getting a 3-and-out somehow, some way, getting the ball back on the 35-yard line, getting 25 more yards of offense, and kicking a game-winning field goal. That would have been my script. Obviously, you throw the script out. They make the 4th and 1. Great. They get picked in pick 6. Not good. Then they somehow finagle themselves through special teams and burps and hiccups and paper clips and bubble gum and Elmer's glue, and they're in overtime with a chance to win the game. And they really got jobbed on that punt. I mean, there's no doubt about that, but there were so many weird twists. It was almost like the Minnesota Snow game from 4 years ago. Yeah, right? It was really, really bizarre, really weird. But anytime your offense can muster just 2 field goals, Nestor, you're not going to win many games in this league. Again, it was against the Chicago Bears, a team that lost 10 straight road games. But still, I'm with you. You take the points where you can get them and let the chips fall where they may. They were very fortunate to even be in that game late with the 2 special team returns for touchdowns. But that offense looked predictable, no imagination, etc. I don't know if Marty Morningwig's seat's getting hotter, but
I think another poor performance on the road against the Vikings. Greg Roman might have to start warming up.
Dennis Kolatzis joining us here from Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. Dennis, what do you like about this? Is there anything? I mean, I'm not being a jerk here. I mean, we're 6 weeks into this thing. You know, I think Marlon Humphrey has been a nice pickup, and I keep saying that every week. I mean, I don't think he's going to the Pro Bowl, and, you know, he doesn't have 3 picks right now and running around. I think that day might come for him, and he might be the next coming of at least a C.J. Mosley, Brandon Williams type of, you know, plus player or a guy that you'd want to give a lot of money to at some point down the line. But I don't know that there's anything here. I mean, Juden had some plays last week. That was nice to see. But I don't know where Ryan Jensen, you know, is well thought of at Pro Football Focus. But, you know, there's not a whole lot to praise at 3-3 right now, is there?
Not a lot to praise, and no star power for this team, Nestor. No star players, no Ed Reed, no Ray Lewis, no Ray Rice, if you will. They need some star power to attract more fans to the stadium, which is another subject, Nestor. I wasn't there, but by all accounts, 15 to 25,000 fans absent. There's apathy as a result of maybe an entitled and spoiled fan base, the protest, and a bad product on the field. All these things add up. That home field advantage just isn't there. 1-2 at home, Nestor, is unacceptable. Again, we get their 2-1 on the road, but look who they're beating on the road, really teams that aren't that good. But you've got to hold serve at home, and this team just hasn't done it this year.
Crazy that we think of Oakland as not that good. That's what they are right now. Yeah. They're not that good, right?
Neither are the Ravens. I mean, we're 3-3, and we are what our record says we are. This is a very mediocre, very middle-of-the-road team. Look, but I go back to 2000. The Ravens were 4-5 at that point. They won 11 straight. Now, can they catch lightning in the bottle? Highly unlikely, but look, right now, I'm just like the team. I'm very moderate, right in the middle, and wait-and-see attitude. Like for them to surprise us with a victory against the Vikings, although I think it's unlikely.
He is Dennis Kolatzis. He is the SSV on WNST. This is the last thing about mediocre, football and the product and the meetings in New York and the knee and the sponsors and the all of that baked into this thing right now. I've talked to more than one person this week, including Brian Billick, about the NFL. And, Dennis, I don't know about your business at Coons Ford, certainly my business here at WNST. We've been around long enough that there's up months and there's down months. And there's those years that are up a little bit more, down a little bit more. You always hope that every year you go up. We all would love to, in any walk in life, if you just took the chart of the NFL's trajectory as a business, as a profit center, as prosperity goes, and from quite frankly, the time you and I were in cribs, literally, from the 1960s through now, through strikes, through downtimes, through uptimes, through spikes for the WWE and NASCAR and other sports doing well, and the NBA having its magic Larry Bird, Jordan period, and Tiger Woods having its golf period, and, whatever the halcyon days for anything are, the NFL's always been that one thing that it only goes up, kind of like Apple has lately, right? Or whatever that stock would be that never, ever, 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 ever comes down, right?
Right.
Well, this is it's about to go into that, and the worst part of it for them isn't just the mess politically, the mess racially, the mess power-wise, the mess with their players. The real problem is that the game on the field isn't great right now, right? I mean, that beyond all of that, the Aaron Rodgers injuries, the CTE, take any of the many, 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 many issues you'd have. People staying away from the games because they play fantasy and it's expensive to go to the games. All of those problems that they know they have, having games that aren't any good and having teams that are all sort of plodding along to be 8-8, that is the product, right? When you put the television on, you want a good game. Right now, I don't know that the Ravens are ever going to look like a good football team, and maybe some weeks more they'll look more like the 44-0 team, but they're never going to go out and look like this 99 Rams, right?
Well, they wanted parity, and he got it, but I think the consequence of parity is maybe not everybody likes it. We like to see dynasties. We like to see David against Goliath. We haven't seen a dynasty in the NFL. I mean, the New England Patriots are the closest thing, and even this year, their defense looks porous. They look very beatable. There is no dominant team in the NFL this year. Any given Sunday, anybody else can beat anybody else. That's a fact. Don't know if that's good for the brand. Don't know if that's good for the game. Lots of problems, as you mentioned, this year for the league. Look, and every league has a downturn. The key is, can they get out of it? Can they turn the corner fast, quickly enough? They don't have happy employees and their players, and they don't have happy fans either. So if you can't keep your employees and your fans happy, that's a recipe for disaster for any business, whether it's mine, yours, or the NFL. And that's where Roger Goodell and those 32 owners, they have a big problem right right now. If you don't stand for anything, you're going to fall for everything. At this point, they've got to circle the wagons, figure it out, and got to follow the money, because that's the biggest thing now. Their money is in jeopardy, and I think when that starts to get compromised, I think that's when they'll really start paying attention.
Well, they've started paying attention. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
They know. They know. It's no secret. Empty seats at the stadiums speak volumes, and it's just not the empty seats at the stadiums. It's also TV sets. The other thing, too, Nestor, I've got NFL Game Pass. I can watch a game in 45 minutes, commercial-free. That frees up a lot of my time as well. So I think a lot of things socially have changed through space and time, how we view these games as well.
All right, man. Well, we will see you on Thursday, each and every Thursday. It is the SSV on WNST. We're going to have an interesting World Series, though, right? I mean, it's been decent baseball here. Caps are getting going. College football season. There's a lot going on. Boy, that break for Hayward, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
incredible.
My God. I mean, first hour of the season, man.
I know.
And you don't think of those kinds of injuries in the NBA, right? I mean, it's really kind of out of character to see something gruesome like that happen, right? Yeah,
it really just puts a damper on things for sure. That's the whole thing. Injuries in any sport, and of course the Ravens have been more familiar with them than most franchises in any sport. They do factor in how your season turns out.
When we go to Green Bay in 5 weeks, we won't be saying that, though, right?
But that's going to be tough out there, too. That's a tough place to play.
We lost a rookie quarterback last week. Case Keenum, who came out of a tree and beat us, is trying to beat us this week. Jay Cutler and his ghost are going to be coming in here on Thursday. So, yeah, man, I hear you.
Yeah, no question about it. And, of course, you got the NBA, which I don't know if you saw the Charles Barkley quote. He says, the hardest thing is going to be to pretend that the Cavaliers and the Warriors aren't going to play in a championship game again this year. They got to go fake, the whole season just to get to the championship series.
Yeah, you talk about fast forward. You can just fast forward through the whole NBA season and get to June 3rd, right?
Right. I'm interested to see the NBA ratings this year for that reason alone, because, again, it's a foregone conclusion about who's going to be in a championship match.
Well, there you go. But and how about this? And maybe that's as big a problem as you have, is that who's going to beat the Warriors? Okay, fine. But who's going to watch the Bucks play the Jazz on a Tuesday night? I don't know. I mean, and that would be the same thing in the NFL, where you see a Monday night game or a Thursday night game and say, I don't want to watch the Vikings play the Ravens if I'm not, if it's not of interest to me, because they're both 3-3 and 4-2. There's nothing great that's going to happen there. That's something the NFL is going to have to figure. It's something all these sports have to figure out. I mean, baseball. There have been too many games in baseball for 30 years, right?
Yeah, no question about it. Absolutely.
Appreciate you, Dennis, man. Have a great week. We'll check in on Thursday, and I'm sure we'll be following your tweets during the game on Sunday from out in Minnesota.
You got it. Thank you. Be well, Nestor.
You got it. Dennis Kolotzis. He runs things out of Coons Ford of Security Boulevard, where they're always doing great stuff. They're sponsoring our WNST tech service as always. Get on that. You'll always get the breaking news first. There's never spam. And, of course, the SSV on WNST is Thursday, 3 until 5. Gives me a little break around here. Gives you a little break around here to listen to some great conversation as you drive home on Thursday afternoons. You can find me out on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, streaming live anywhere. You can find us out there as well on our Facebook Live, as well as our YouTube WNSTV channel. I am Nestor. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.